Hey there, Mike in Detroit. How you doing? This video is going to be a remake of my intermediate series. I think I did that series 5 years ago or something like that. And the studio's a little better. Got better, a little bit better cameras here today. And I also may think of some things I didn't think of or know back then. Before I get started, hopefully, um, I hear all the time that YouTube videos are just random. That's why I make these series. So I have a beginner series and I have an intermediate series. And really, that's it. That's it. An intermediate pianist can play their favorite songs, can play in church. So right from the outset, let me just review, and I said it in the series that I did before. So if you didn't peek at that, go ahead and search my channel and look for that. This is called an intermediate piano series, and it had both theory and application involved. I also have a beginner series, and that's where you jump in if you know nothing. You're just getting started. So let's define some terms. Number one, in these two series, they are both play by ear kind of series. They're both chordal driven series. I am going through the Alfred's book. If you want to go that route, in other words, you want to read music a little bit, look for the series that I walk you through, Alfred's adult piano book, number one. You can actually do both if you would like, but these series are really designed for people who want to play by ear, who want to play by chords, who want to play by lead sheets, that kind of thing. Both the beginner and the intermediate series. Somebody asked me, why don't you have an advanced series? Well, a couple of reasons. One, every time I go somewhere, I see people doing what I call overplaying. They want to be like the next whoever, and so I don't really invest too much time into what I call advanced. If I was to define terms, and you're going to see everybody's got an opinion on this, what's the difference between a beginner, an intermediate, and an advanced player? Okay, just so you don't think I'm throwing random YouTube videos at you, I do have a method to this madness. In the beginning stage, you should be able to name your notes, both white and black. You should be able to form the major scale in all 12 keys. And you should know your triads, both major, minor, augmented, and diminished in all 12 keys. If you can do that, and then you can apply some basic rhythm. In other words, you can play chords like this. So that's what I would call beginner. And just like I'm reshooting this intermediate series, I think it was 4 or 5 videos. Um, so I'm going to, over the next days, reshoot that. And then I'm going to go back and reshoot the beginner series as well. So everything is fresh, up to date, that kind of thing. So what do I mean by intermediate? Where are we going with this intermediate series? Remember that if you're subscribed to my channel, you want to play Christmas songs, you want to play folk songs, you want to play some jazz, you want to play gospel songs. In other words, you want to play popular music. Who is it not for? No classical stuff here. Hopefully there's lots of good channels for you to find. And usually classically trained pianists are sight readers anyway. So intermediate means that we're going to move from triads to now more denser chords, like seventh chords. or ninth chords, both major and minor. We're going to now not only go to denser chords, we're going to go to a wider variety of rhythms. And then we're going to start introducing chord progressions at the intermediate level. So in other words, instead of one, maybe we'll go to a six. And then we're going to start applying it to a little bit more sophisticated songs, like songs with key changes and that kind of thing. Also, at the intermediate level, we're going to, remember in the beginning level, I asked you to learn all 12 major scales. At the intermediate level, we might introduce a few more scales like pentatonics or melodic minor scales, things like that. And we're going to introduce things like rootless voicings. Now, some of these videos are up right now. So if that's a topic that's interesting to you, again, look for those titles in my videos and you'll find them there. But here in this series, we're going to start, that's what I mean by intermediate. So in other words, now you can handle a lot more variety of situations, and you're going to be looking at chord voicings from a whole beyond triad kind of chord voicings. That's intermediate. Now, it is my belief that advanced means you know everything that I've talked about, but now you have a stylistic way to your playing. Maybe instead of playing a C major 9, let's say, maybe you can slur that, something like that, or I don't really get into that too much. I have seen people try to jump to advanced when they don't have their good foundation skills under them, and it sounds a little sloppy to my taste. Or they're showing off. They're overplaying. I'm a pretty calm guy, so I think music supports something rather than brings attention to itself. But that's my commentary. So this would be the first of, I think I did 4 or 5 last time. We'll see how many I need to do. So if you're jumping in here, this is the first of the intermediate lessons. So if you're jumping in here, make sure you know your triads, all of them, all the inversions. You can play them pretty well, and you know your 12 major scales. Then you're ready for intermediate. Okay, let's say you are. Let's go to work. So now, let's take a C triad. You got that? Oh, by the way, I think in the, let's call it a crossover. It could be beginner, it could be intermediate. A lot of the things we practice, we're either going to go, let's take a C triad, we're going to go up chromatically, like that, or we're going to go around the circle of fourths. So chromatic means didn't miss a note, or the circle of fourths just moves, like as the title says, it moves in fourths. C, upper fourth gives you F, upper fourth gives you B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, B, E, A, D, G, and now we're back to C again. That you should just commit to memory, because music itself flows as if it's reading that circle or a portion of that circle. The other thing I want to emphasize right at the beginning of this intermediate series remake is we're going to be talking about a lot of numbers. a lot of numbers. So that means not only do you need to know your major scales and how they are derived, you also need to put numbers to that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. And you want to kind of drill that in a little bit. So if I said in the key of F, what is the sixth chord? I mean, about that fast, you say, oh, that's a D minor. If I said in the key of E flat, what is the three chord? About that fast, you're going to say G minor. So we're going to be using a lot of numbers. Why? Why? Because I believe that is the biggest shortcut to learning music theory, almost bar none, that there is. That you can learn a song, and I actually used to marvel at that. I know I saw some movie years and years and years ago, and the piano player was there, and the lady came up and she says, "I want to sing." I forgot the song, but Misty, let's say. And the piano player says, "Well, what key you want to sing this in?" And I remember at the time saying, yeah, "I'm glad I'm not the piano player because you better sing it in the key I know it in." But the number system clears you from doing that. In other words, you can play in all 12 keys in whatever chord progression that you want or whatever song that you want. So we're going to be working on that throughout this intermediate series. In other words, do not hit your transpose button on your keyboard. You shouldn't even have a transpose button on your keyboard. Okay. So now to get us started, we're going to transition from this, which is a beginner triad C. You should know all 12 triads and all their inversions. If you don't, then you got to go back to the beginner class and clean that up. So you see this intermediate is just going to build on the what we learned in the beginner level. Now what are we going to add? So now the first chord we're going to add from a C major is a C major 7. All of a sudden we got a different sound. We move from this to this. By the way, just to at a beginner stage, you should know something about piano posture, how to hold your hands, how to sit at the piano, all that stuff we'll discuss in the beginner section. So I'm going to assume you got all that. So we're moving from C to C major 7. And just like in the beginner level, we have inversions of that. Now instead of having 3 inversions, we have 4. 4 notes, 4 inversions. And this is what we call closed position. Here's first inversion. Right, here's second inversion. Here's third inversion. And we're back to what we call root position. Now, I told you we were going to be talking numbers. These are not only number names, which you can see on your screen there. That's how you spell a C major 7. What do I mean by major 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The 7th falls within the scale. There's some tricks to how to find it. All you got to do is take this C, go up an octave, and then go down a half step. The major 7th is always in any key going to be a half step down from its octave. What do you mean by half a step? Well, a half a step is any note and going up or down to any adjacent note. So a half step up from D would be D sharp. No notes in between. A half step up again would be, these are half steps. Look at that. That's 2 white notes, but it's still a half step because there's no note in between. A whole step is just 2 half steps. That's a whole step. Whole step, whole step. See, there's one note between those two. There's a whole step. And they sound, here comes ear training, they sound different. Half steps sound like half steps. They have a sound to them. And they sound different than whole steps, or what the classical musicians would call seconds. They have a sound to it. So, from a musical theory point of view, you have to know what a whole step is or and a half step is, because we're going to be using that vernacular. So a C major 7, and it's in versions. Now, the last time I shot this intermediate video, I said that my go-to are root position and second inversion. And that's still true. Those are money voicings. We're gonna see that over and over and over. And you're gonna be playing these two inversions, all the time. But here in the last couple of years, I'm kind of falling in love with this inversion as well. Same notes, you just order it differently. When you reorder notes, or add notes, or subtract notes, or spread out notes, that's called voicing. I have a whole video on chord voicings. But this one, I did not emphasize the last time I did the intermediate series, but I am today, because it just fits the hand. And if you want to play an arpeggio, so last time I called these money voicings, just go to, whatever word you want to use. This one and this one. But now let's add this one too. You can get a lot of melodic mileage out of that voicing. And it fits the hand. Now, how do you practice these? Okay, I told you what it is. That's a C major 7 chord. Remember, we already know this. All we're doing is adding a major 7. Or we got this, and we're adding a major 7. Whatever voicing you learn, you need a way to drill it. Do push-ups, do pull-ups, run it around the block. So let's just do the circle. So that's in root position. Here's F. Here's B flat. Let me pause here because I'm thinking and teaching at the same time. The way you want to practice these or anything else is go as slow as you possibly can. Slow practice equals fast progress. In other words, don't just run through this. It's probably not going to stick that way, but let it marinate a little bit. Enjoy the sound. And maybe go back to where you started from. Maybe pick a different voicing. So when you're practicing almost anything, you want to be focused on what you're, laser focused on what you want to do, and then slow down. And so right now we're playing root position, major 7 chords around the circle of 4s. Here's B flat. You might have to write some of these down if you don't know these right off the top of your head. Maybe make a little table and a piece of paper, put it on your music stand. But eventually you're going to throw that paper in the trash, because you're going to have these. You're going to be playing these forever. Here's E flat, A flat. Now, you notice that I am making some attempt to use musicality is what I call it. There's dynamics involved, which means how loud or how soft I'm playing. Maybe I don't play them all at the same time. I just sprinkle them all around a little bit. Let's go to D flat. Let's go to G flat. That time I played the G flat chord here, and I'm just trailing with the bass for now. There's some left hand things we can do, but we'll get into that later. What I did was I did this, and I went up an octave and did the same thing. Go another octave. Now we need B. So drill these until you just know them. You just know them. You don't even have to think. Your mind thinks B, and your hand just reaches for it. Here's E. We're in root position now. Here's A. Now we did just drill in the beginner stage, except for we were just using triads. Now we're adding that jazzy major 7. Here's D. And we have G. And now we're back to C again. I had a teacher a long time ago who was drilling major chords, and he did it over a pedal point. Pedal point means the bass doesn't change. Just take that C. So we're going to use the circle again. Okay, so let me explain what I just did. So the bass stays the same. I could double the bass. So I, on my right hand is thinking circle of force, or part of the circle of force, right? But the bass is pedal pointing, staying the same. And it builds up this kind of a, now I'm playing root position F chords. B flat. C stays the same. E flat. A flat. Now I'm on D flat. Now D flat is a half a step up. Now that's my clue to go home. So you can start this any old place. I just happen to start it on C. So that's a good exercise. You can put a little rhythm to that, and go to town. C. So you can start that anywhere, but when you get to this place where you're like a half step away, then you go home. Good exercise. Okay, so while we're working on major 7th chords, let's get some inversions going on. Oh, not that. This. The one that I play the most is root position and second inversion. So just like I took root position around the circle, can you take second inversion around the circle? Notice that my third finger here is on the chord that I'm playing. And around the circle you go. Okay. I'm on G flat. I'm on B. Play these very slowly if you're not used to them, because notice where the black keys are and where the white keys are and that kind of stuff. Now we need this. We're on E. Should I go up or down? Let's go up. A, then we have D. And now we have G. Um, you want to keep doing those both root position chords, major 7, and second inversion. Now, if you're ambitious, take this voice in. That's third position, and take that around the circle. I won't do that now, but let's just call that extra credit. You can actually get by just fine for a long while with both root and second inversion. Now, the third exercise I'm going to give you in major 7 chords is to play with voice leading. So, let's take a root position C chord. Now we need to go to F. So we're going to do a second position, a second inversion F chord. That's going to take us to a root position E flat chord. That's going to take us to a second position E flat chord. You get the idea? Now, if you get too low, you're going to have to go up and stay in the same inversion. So we're in second inversion. Let's do. I'm on B. I'm on E. Nope, that's wrong. There it is. So in other words, you're flip-flopping back and forth between root position and second inversion, root position, second inversion. So what did I start on last time was root position. And I went to second inversion. Root position, second inversion. On and on and on around the circle. So next time, start on second position. Now you're going to go to root position. Now second inversion. Now root position. Get the idea? I think you got it. Lots of drilling work done in foundation. You know, it's like doing your push-ups. It's like training. It's like boot camp. But boy, will they pay off when you get to songs and chord progressions. So you got this really. This is the part I really believe why people struggle with music is because this boring stuff, these drills that we need to do. People go through and say, okay, I did it. No, 20 times, 30 times, 50 times. I can tell you what to do, but I can't tell you to do it. But I can persuade you that you get this foundational stuff down really, 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 really well. When you get to songs, you're going to be locked and loaded. Now that's major 7 chords. Now we want to do minor 7 chords. A minor 7 dispel, root, flat 3, 5, flat 7. So now from the beginner series, you should know this minor triad, right? And this, and this. Okay, so make sure you have that from the other series, right? We're just going to add a flat 7. What I mean by, remember we called this a major 7? If we go down 2 half steps, we're going to call that a flat 7. So it's spelled 1, 3, 5, flat 7 is a minor chord. Your choice. You can go up chromatically, or you can go to circle. I like the circle. That's how songs work. Now these two have inversions. And they have what we call AB, or what I call money voices, a root position, right? So all you gotta do is either take these 2 notes down or take these 2 notes up, and you're gonna have it. So let's go down. So we have a G and a B flat up on top of this chord. Let's put them at the bottom. We're gonna end up with this. Remember, practice slow to make progress fast. So in this first intermediate series, we're just going to nail down these 7 chords. So far we got a major 7, and we have a minor 7. And do the same thing I did on the major ones. Take them all the way around the circle, every single key, that kind of thing. Now we also have a dominant 7 chord, that chord. That's spelled root 3, 5, flat 7. It's like a triad with a flat 7th on it. Sounds real bluesy. So we have major and its inversions. We have minor. Now we have dominant. We have minor 7 with a flatted 5th, which is root, flat 3, flat 5, flat 7. Here's minor 7 with flat 5. And then we have diminished. And diminished chords, especially in gospel and a lot of jazz too. In gospel, they wear these diminished chords out. And in jazz too, in some categories. But I have a whole video on diminished chords and how you use them and how you find them and that kind of stuff. So here's your exercise. Major, minor, dominant, minor 7 flat 5, and diminished. 1 down, 11 to go. You want to be able to do that against any root note you want to find. Okay. So lesson number 1, intermediate, is move your triads to 7th chords. Now the other thing you want to be able to do is, just like you can play this chord in your right hand or this chord, you want to be able to play that in your left hand as well. That's another practice for you. And this is where people started yelling at me, because they said, well, my right hand was fine, but my left hand says, you gotta be kidding me. So train your left hand to play C. Let's take a C minor. Let's take an F minor. Let's take a B flat minor. So don't leave your left hand out of the loop. Matter of fact, a lot of times, let's say you're playing an F minor or a G minor, and your right hand is free to either play a melody, maybe you're playing a E minor. And remember, you learned your major scales in beginning segment or beginning series. Maybe you moved up. Okay, so drop it in the comments below if you're at the intermediate level. This is going to be a series. I'm not finished with you intermediates yet, but today in the first segment, you want to be able to play root position, major chords, and second inversion major chords. You want to play root position, minor chords, all 12 of them. And second inversion minor chords, which is is that. And either take it up and down chromatically. Let's let's just take let's take a major chord so I can show you what I'm talking about. Let's say we did the circle last time, so let's do chromatic. So here's C major 7. Here's D flat major 7. E flat major 7. E major 7. And right on up the chromatic scale. G and A flat and A, B flat, B, and we're back to C again. So now the last thing you want to do when you do all of that is go find your favorite song that you were playing back in the beginner stage, or a chord progression that you were playing back in the beginner stage, and start adding these sevenths, either dominant, it depends on what it is. If it's a major chord, it's going to be the major 7. If it's a minor chord, it's going to, or dominant chord, it's going to be the flat 7. If it's a diminished chord, it's going to be double flatted 7. So that's lesson number 1. That's your homework for number 1. So you're ready to go to video number 2 if you can play your major in at least 2 inversions. Go back and forth. F, B flat, like that. You can play major, minor, dominant, minor 7 flat 5, and diminish in all 12 against all 12 tonalities. Then you're ready for the next day, and then you can apply that to some of the songs maybe you were playing um, in the beginner series. Okay, that's the reshoot for intermediate series lesson number 1. Go ahead and work on that, and we will see you when you get that really well. We'll see you in intermediate lesson number 2. Mike in Detroit. Talk to you soon. Take care. Bye bye.